What's up, boys and girls? You may not be aware of it, but it's been a while since I put anything on YouTube because the last time I started talking about things that were important, I got strikes and flags from no one because the information that I was trying to share is very problematic. Because when you know, you understand things. And when you understand things, well, then you prepare accordingly. But there is no preparation required anymore because it's already been accomplished. And if you keep telling yourself all that hard work that you've already done, just be, because it's already been accomplished. I wanted to throw this out there because there's a lot of the feel good energy channels that are talking about the great flash. Well, they don't understand the reality of the great flash by the sun. They think it's some 3D, 5D, you're gonna ascend. No, they are very, very, very misinformed of the great flash and what it's actually going to do. Now, this great flash is actually a galactic event where space dust will start collecting on our sun. And as the sun is being pressured magnetically, that dust will start collecting on the shell of our sun, thus giving us the next 3 days of darkness. You all have no idea what you're in for. The 3 days of darkness will be the dust, space dust, collecting on our sun, which then will slightly congeal. And as a magnetic polarity flip of our sun will cause that shell to burst. And the exterior shell of the sun will blow off due to the pressure that had been held in by a heliospheric current sheet, which is here. It's already hit 2 planets. It's causing the Earth's core to oblong. The volcanoes are moving and the plates are moving in ways they've never moved before, and the ocean currents are literally shutting down due to the heat transfer. And if you notice in your location, your clouds aren't the same as they were 5 years ago, and the sun is awful white. I'm wearing red sunglasses due to an eye injury that I'm attempting to recover from, and I'm starting to like them because they block out a lot of UVA and UVB rays. But back to the great solar flash and how all the ascendant people think they're going to survive. But if you haven't had the experience, you're not going to survive, no matter how awakening you think you are or how ascendant you think you are. The term burning in hell is actually a perception. One, it's when the great solar flash, the solar micronova, electrically induced current burns off quite a chunk of the earth, and the chunks from said sun of dust will become impactors, or what they call the asteroids that hit the earth and killed the dinosaurs were actually just chunks of space dust, which were originally what created earth and seeded life on our planet. It's beautiful. It's a very natural cycle. But during this induced electrical current, you are a photon of energy. Your soul is connected to said source, the beginning of the universe, our sun. The energy around us actually isn't given to us, it comes through us and is given outward. So those electrical lines that are traveling past your house are actually drawing energy away from you. There's just a current going through that. Now, this great solar flash, this induced electrical current, will actually short the human body out like a light bulb if your magnetic field is not able to resist against said induced electrical current. And that involves reversing your body's physical polarity. Now, for those that know, they know. They don't talk about ascension. They don't talk about 5D. They don't talk about any of that nonsense. We've already hit higher consciousness and it no longer matters because we're not striving. We're being. And most people can't understand that either. We've become something that they can't fathom already. Now, this induced electrical current will actually be absorbed by your central nervous system, and that electrical energy will be backfed into your pineal gland, where your pineal stone houses the photon of light, which is your connection to source, or some would call the soul. Now, this great flash, this induced electrical current, is going to add so much power into your light. This is when evolution happens. The DNA of your biological body is, well, how would you say this? Data brought down from said photon. Now, you are the energy from your mother and father, but you are not of your mother and father here on this planet. You are a separate soul, which you might not even be related to your mother and father like I am. I'm just an orphan, said dropped in from some other kinsman close by, and I have nothing like them. But that's neither here nor there. Now, that photon of light is going to be fed the sun's energy full force. And what does light do when you give it more power? It gets brighter, but it also expands. Now, if you have never experienced, and I say experience the saying to break the glass ceiling, for those of us that know, it wasn't a ceiling, it was a floor. Whereas we are looking from the inside of our pineal stone. And when our light broke out of said pineal stone, when that energy hits, our light will expand. Whereas the majority of you who talk about ascension and will see this video about the great solar flash, your light will expand inside of a diamond. And like a light bulb, when you add too much power to it, it burns out from the inside because it does not have the capability of expanding. This is where we run into the to burn in hell or burn in eternity, because the mind and your soul's experience does not know time. So the split second that your spark of consciousness burns out, pardon me, that split second that it takes will be stretched into eternity in your perception as your spark of consciousness is turned into ash and dust and snuffed out. Now, the laws of physics tell you that energy is neither created or destroyed, it just changes form. So what ends up happening is your terabytes of data on this photon of who you have been in multiple lives, reincarnated down to this one, will be erased. That photon of light will return to energy, and everything of the data that which you are, like in the Matrix, will be erased. But you will experience that erasing forever. Even though for me, all of you will be in a split second, burnt out like a light bulb. And that's what the great white flash from our sun, or the micronova, is actually going to do. If you can't expand and ascend, which isn't ascension, it's just to allow your light to expand and grow with the energy. Thus, why a lot of people are so into gold, because gold has the ability of deflecting induced current. And that's why they put it on the space stations and spacecrafts, because it deflects the sun's energy. Those people are trying to dig bunkers and protect themselves from it. It's not going to work, because all they're hoping to do is to die a physical death, but not die the death eternal, as many of these people are very aware of it coming. Now, if you'd have known my previous channels, which I just changed the name, I talk about some things to prepare for it a couple years ago, and those topics are off limits. But ascension is just ascension up into your mind. It's not something outside of yourself. And that's where most people have fantasized a lot of this, and how this is going to bring about a new age. No, it kills 95% of the population of the planet almost instantly. So the people that survive will die, but their spark of light isn't returned to energy, they are remembered. So they will be reborn eventually when humans kind of come back and the consciousness returns. As if you look into many of the ancient books, the tablets of Thoth, the consciousness leaves. And this is the event. Because do you want to be here when the consciousness leaves? And all these people become animals that survive? There's going to be a very small part of the earth that will actually be inhabitable. And hopefully, maybe I'm part of that, maybe I'm not. It doesn't matter. But the great flash is part of the horsemen. In Revelations, the 4 horsemen are stages of the sun. The white horse we have now as our magnetic field drops. The red horse is coming as the dust from this heliospheric current sheet will start collecting on the sun as its pressure wave comes. Now, it's still on the other side of Saturn because I have yet to get confirmation of that, which we might not get. But from what I can tell, we get past Saturn, we have about a year, and there will be major changes, political, geopolitical, things going on in the world, biological changes, and a lot of things are going on actually right now this week, leading up to some planetary alignments and the magnetics of that. But when this sheet gets past Saturn, there are no other planets on that side of the sun. I've also recognized it's not consistent because it is a harmonic wave that isn't moving consistently. It's waving and it's moving this way and that. So there is no real telling. I thought we wouldn't see this summer, but I may be off a little bit. And I have the feeling that come here in a couple weeks, I'm going to get confirmation that I'm not that far off. And that's where they don't understand the ascension is just preparing your spark of consciousness to survive the energy that's coming and to become what we are, energy. If you watch a couple movies, I suggest Lucy. That was a brilliant movie. And it is actually quite accurate to what the humans and the human mind and the human body and the electrical energy of our world is actually capable of. And then we are capable of a lot more through induced electrical current. But if you're not preparing or prepared, a lot of this great flash is just a hubbubaloo of nothing. And you will die eternally in hell, and hell is on earth. And eternally burning in hell is your own mind stretching out the end of your existence, because time doesn't exist for the soul. It will see the energy coming to destroy it, and you will experience that energy forever, even though it was over in a split second.